Natasha Small. I am the undergraduate admissions coordinator for the Department of Theater and Dance at the University of Texas at Austin. Today I'm here with a bunch of our great BA students. They are pursuing a BA in Theater and Dance. So I'll let them introduce themselves and then we're going to answer a few questions. So Mia, would you like to go first?
Hi, I'm Mia. I'm a second year performance process emphasis, and I'm from Laredo, Texas.
Hi, I'm Alex. I am a third year BA with an emphasis in playwriting and directing, and I'm from Ravenna, Texas.
Hi, I'm Brittany. I'm a third year BA in stage management, and I'm from Arlington, Texas.
Hi, I'm Amaya. I am a third year BA with an emphasis in performance process from Houston, Texas.
Hi, I'm Libby Jantz. I'm a third year getting a BA in theater and dance with a focus in lighting design, and I'm from Arlington, Texas.
So will you tell us a little bit about your portfolio experience? Like or your audition, like what were you expecting, or like what was different that you weren't expecting about that experience?
Well, I know that like I was making my portfolio, I was worried because I didn't have like a ton of lighting experience, and like the pictures that I had of like my designs weren't like, you know, super fancy or anything like that. And so I was worried that just that my portfolio like wouldn't be good enough, or like wouldn't be what they were looking for. And then whenever I like came to tour, I had a meeting with Rusty, and I got to ask him a few questions. And what he told me was that like they're not looking for like perfection, or like even for anyone that knows a ton about like what you're trying to go for. It's more just that they're looking for someone who like has passion or like potential. And they said they also like people who know how to draw. So yeah, I think that helped me, like made me feel a little better about making my portfolio when I was going through that process.
Yeah, I feel like portfolio is a really big word for what we're looking for, which is like examples of your work. But portfolio can sound a little bit, scary. Anybody else?
For the playwriting and directing portfolio, I was expecting to submit like a sample from a script, and I had no idea what to expect for the directing aspect of it. And they wanted some notes, and actually gave quite a few options, but it was like some notes from a thing that you've directed or something that you would want to direct. And whenever I didn't know like what the notes would be, there was actually explanations of it in the application process. So that was really helpful, because I don't come from like an extensive theater background in high school, so I had no idea what I was doing, but the application process for that emphasis was pretty straightforward, and I appreciated that a lot.
Great. Thank you. Does anybody want to talk about their audition experience? Cool.
Mine was super different because I did mine through the department, my original audition, and then I ended up doing my callback through Skype because I couldn't afford to go to Austin for callbacks. So I did my callback through Skype, and I was super stressed because I know camera doesn't always project everything that you want it to, especially when you're a performer. So I was super, super nervous, but I ended up doing my callback on Skype. I talked to Robert, who is the one who ran my audition, and he was like, look, there's 3 other people in the room. You can't see them. They're behind the computer. You're just going to look at me. And I was like, that's awesome. Thank you. And I just talked to Robert, and he was really cool about it. He was really good at calming me down, and honestly wasn't as terrible as I thought it was. It was honestly not as stressful, just because of the warmth that Robert was able to like literally emit through the camera. I was like, wow. And that already gives you like a taste of like what the department is just like in person.
Okay, next question. What are some of the ways that you were able to get involved with both the department and the campus community once you got to UT, right? So you went through all the stressful stuff. Then how did you find your niche?
I didn't really start getting like super involved until my second year, but during during my first year, I was just like a little shy. And so like for me, like it's hard for me to warm up to people. But I did new works my first year, and I think that's where it all started for me, just like getting to know people and getting to know the community. And I don't know, I guess feeling comfortable working on something that I was proud of. So I think that helped me a lot with theater and dance. And as far as like the UT community, they have like a lot of like club fairs like on Speedway. So that's where I was just like walking down Speedway and just looking at different clubs and seeing what interests me. So now I'm a part of a few, more than I'd like to admit, but yeah, I think it's super easy to get involved. So
The theater and dance department does some outreach programs at the beginning of the year usually, and everyone is very inviting and excited for you to be involved. And I think something that really helped me get involved was actually participating in classes. Once I started opening up in my classes and getting to know the people around me, it was so much easier to find out what they were involved in and the student orgs that they were part of in the theater and dance community. And I was kind of like a Maya where I didn't do a lot my first year, but by the second year I was super involved and it was really exciting. And for the UT community as a whole, I think theater and dance students are really busy, and so the BA program helps because it gives you the opportunity to double major and actually do work in your classwork, and then you can commit some of your time outside of classwork to your other interest, if that makes sense.
I was just going to add on to what Alex said about the opening week. We call it convocation when you're coming into the department for the first time. And this is everyone from BFA to BA and just everyone within the theater and dance community. And we've got a bunch of tables that we set up. And that's where I got to hear about USITT for technical theater students and meet some of the leaders there and talk just to anyone and everyone that you can find about what the season's going to look like, how excited you are about working on certain productions, and just kind of getting a feel for what your year could look like just within a little bit of time and meeting some new people.
Let's go to the next question. So how are you guys, speaking of how flexible the BA is, how are you encouraged to kind of dabble in multiple areas, or do you do that? Or you feel like you kind of want to stick to just your emphasis? And can you just talk a little bit about those kind of experiences with like cross collaboration?
I feel like I've done a lot of interdisciplinary stuff that I wasn't expecting to. The part of the course requirement for BAs is the advanced production lab and production lab. So you get to do run crew or lighting or costumes for a show in the production lab, and then advanced production lab, you actually get to hone in your skills on a specific emphasis. So I was able to do costuming, and which was completely out of my wheelhouse. And then also I have a job with the Texas Performing Arts in the scene shop, and I know a couple of us also work with Texas Performing Arts, and that is another opportunity to where I didn't think I had any skills in building sets, and I'm going on my second year working there, and it's one of my favorite places to be in the theater and dance community. So
I think the New Works Festival is a really great example that capitalizes on how a student can be interdisciplinary. And we have the New Works Festival every other year. So within your 4 years, you'll have it twice. And it's a student-led festival that's student-directed. You have students who are the production assistants, and just everything top to bottom is done by students. So I think that that's a really great way to work with a bunch of different people and putting yourself in different positions to do a new skill that you had never worked on before, or work with someone who's maybe from radio, television, film, who's coming into work and giving you a different perspective. And I think it's a really great collaborative festival that we get to have where you can just hone in on a bunch of different skills.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit about campus life and how you're able to balance like extracurriculars, working, and doing classes. Yeah, and we'll dive deeper in just a
I'm just gonna say, personally, it hasn't been easy. I think it's really all about time management, and sometimes there are some times where you have to pick and choose, because I know, especially like working on shows, rehearsals can be long, and you don't have the option to go to everything that you would like to. So I think it's all about, I guess, just time management and how to figure out like where to, I don't know, I don't want to use the word time too much, but like where to place your time. And especially like with working as well. There's like there's some days where you can only like work like 2 or 3 hours because you have to go to class and then schedule your work schedule in between class and rehearsal. So it's tricky, but I think it's definitely manageable.
I think like as a lighting student, one thing that everyone kept telling me was like, don't spread yourself too thin. Like all of the lighting people that come in end up doing way too much because they're just so excited about all the opportunities that they get. Um, and I think that that was definitely an important thing for me to learn because, you know, especially in lighting, I think I just found so many opportunities. Like I got to work at Texas Performing Arts, hanging lights, and then I also got a job at Hog Auditorium, programming lights, and then I got to like design shows, and I like I think it worked out because of like the fact that Texas Performing Arts is from like 2 to 5, and then rehearsals are after that. So if you like plan out your classes in the right way, you can kind of make sure that you have time for everything.
Yeah, I was gonna add to that because I'm currently a work study student, so the entire year I had to do work study, and I decided that second semester was the semester I was really gonna go at it and be involved. So I worked on UT New Theater, and I decided to ASM a show while also working, while also taking 18 hours, and I really would spread myself incredibly thin, and I was like, I can do it, I can push through, I'll be fine. And I could conceivably, but it wasn't physically the best for me or mentally the best for me. So that's just something you should really keep in mind. Like as Libby said, yeah, you conceivably have time for everything, but when you start your day at 7 in the morning and you don't end your day until 2 in the morning, it's not that great for you. And something is going to end up having to get a little less time. What it ends up being is up to like you. Like I had to decide, like once the season was over, I was like, cool, UT New Theater's over. Now I have time for school 100%. But that's just something you should think about. Also, the department is really, really good about like if you have to work, they're really good about helping you out and being like, you know what, we understand, especially if it's for aid, like they understand and they're willing to work with you in order for you to do both things because they know that you're here for theater, but they also know that you can't afford to come to the classes if you can't work. So they're just really good about that. So never be like, oh my gosh, I can't work or I'll lose my time in the department. Like everyone's really understanding about that.
Currently serve as one of the student ambassadors for the theater and dance department. So I get the privilege of taking prospective students and families on tours. And since COVID, we're doing virtual tours. So that's been really exciting to make that change. And then I also work at Hog Auditorium, which I know that Libby mentioned just a moment ago, which is a really great thing that's not necessarily a part of our theater and dance community. It's the auditorium that's on UT campus where a bunch of the student organization shows happen, and they love the theater and dance community because we know how to work theaters, so we can go over there and transfer our skills and get paid to do so. So I think that there's a lot of really cool hidden gems if you're interested in working in the department or working with something that you are crafting in your studies to do on campus.
Okay, well, I have one more question for you guys today. So can you just tell me what your favorite part is about being a theater and dance student at UT?
My favorite part is the other people. I don't think I fully appreciated it until I started my second year because I was really nervous about being going to college and just a new environment. But like I said, once you open up in your classes and you really start meeting people and spending time with them, when the Winship community, the theater and dance community at UT is one of the most accepting communities I've ever been a part of, and everyone will meet you with a smile on their face and they're so supporting of you, and I think the people are definitely one of the best aspects of it.
Other than the people, I think that my favorite part is all the opportunities that I get to design, even at such a young age. And, like for UT&T, I was designing with a bunch of like grad students, and I was like the head lighting designer. I mean, that's crazy. So yeah, I think all the opportunities I get to like hone my skills and build my portfolio are definitely very valuable to me.
I was just gonna say the exact same thing Libby said. I think I think there's a lot of different opportunities to work with different people, especially like not just like in the T&D community, but also like outside and like all throughout Austin. And I think it's really nice just to be able to take your talents from one place to another, and then also like have those connections that you've made at UT outside of UT. So I think that's another cool thing.
Yeah, and I think that the professors do a really great job, Maya, bridging those two together. And that's such a great asset that I'm really thankful for, of meeting people in the Austin community and professionals outside of Austin through our professors that are so gung-ho on, making you the best student and the best person in your field that you can be. So I love the way that professors invest in you just as much as you're investing in the department.
Also, you're never going to be bored. I think that's what I love the most. You're never bored if you're in T&D. You always have something to do, something to look forward to, something that you miss. There's always all the little in-betweens. You're never going to really be bored or be sad about being like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, I know some kids in other departments like across campus are like, sometimes I'm just so tired of my major. And I don't think theater and dance students ever feel that way. Sometimes we're tired. We're never tired of like what we do because we love what we do. And I think that's what I love the most, is that you never lose the feeling of loving what you're doing just because it's academic.
Wow, beautiful, you guys. Thank you for sharing with us today. And yeah, for anybody that's watching, if y'all have follow-up questions for me, or if you want me to connect you to a current student and ask some more in-depth questions about student life, please feel free to reach out. My contact info is on the website, all over the place. Yeah, and we just look forward to hopefully having you join our community. So thanks to all of you, and